This video was produced without AI tools. All content was written by me, an actual flesh and blood human. Allegedly. Recent advances in the development of AI have scared a lot of people. AI-generated images, videos, simulated voices, and the potential of large language models to display generalized artificial intelligence are threatening to leave humans in the dust. AI models have gotten very good very quickly. Frighteningly quickly. So quickly, in fact, that if the pace of development keeps up, there may be massive unintended consequences. This has led to the publication of the Pause Letter, which was released on March 22, 2023, which advocates for a temporary halt of AI development while we try to understand more about the implications of this rapidly advancing technology. This letter was signed by some of the biggest names in tech, like Elon Musk and Steve Wozniak. Even many AI researchers signed the letter. But this letter is useless. The development of AI won't be halted, paused, or probably even slowed down. In this video, I'll explain why I believe that, and why I also believe that maybe it won't lead to the doom that we all fear. Quite simply, AI is now an arms race, which is just a type of prisoner's dilemma. For any nation, their choices are to try to develop advanced AI or not. If you do not, and another nation does, you lose. If you do develop advanced AI and other nations don't, you win. If you do and other nations also have AI, it turns into a stalemate. And if nobody develops advanced AI, it's also a stalemate. What this means is that choosing to develop artificial intelligence is the dominant strategy. No matter what state of the world you find yourself in, you are always better off if you have developed artificial intelligence. This same logic can be applied to corporations also. If Microsoft has OpenAI and Google doesn't have Bard, then Google's toast. Heck, even with Bard, things aren't looking so good, but maybe Google can catch up if they keep trying. For Microsoft's side, what incentive do they have to halt development if that means that Google just can catch up? Nope. What they're going to do is try to put the pedal to the floor and crush their competitors. Now, a government may try to regulate the development of AI and ban its research. Nations may even get together and try to ban it globally. But will they really stop their own secret AI research projects when that may mean that they fall behind other governments on global competitiveness? We all know how great nations are at adhering to international agreements. After all, if no one is supposed to have AI but one rogue nation does, that nation will have a massive advantage. I mean, do we really think that North Korea would care what everybody else at the UN says about their research? But even if governments do ban AI research, can that ban actually be effective? After all, cocaine is illegal in the US, and my understanding is that it's still quite easy to get a hold of. Government bans against AI development may stop large-scale corporate research, but private development would likely continue behind closed doors or in the dark recesses of the internet. As what the government cannot catch, they cannot regulate. And do we really think that black market AI research is less scary to us than what's currently happening? I'm sure there are probably going to be some complications with copyright law and the data sets that have been used to develop these models, but for privately developed models, which are only used internally for companies or by individuals, or for black market models, copyright enforcement will be next to impossible, and the output of such models may be undetectable at some point. You might never even know that AI was used in order to sue them for using copyrighted information in its development. The fact is that the development of current AI models just isn't difficult enough for regulations to be effective. The underlying technology of large language models isn't some closed secret, neither are the models for image generation. While specific versions of these models like GPT-4 or Midjourney may be proprietary, enough methodology is out there for research and development to continue. Further, research is also ongoing into how to make these models easier to train and to require less data and processing power to run. Even with the steep cost and computing power required to run these models, technological advancements in hardware means that AI gets cheaper every single day. What this means for the wise person is that it is unreasonable to expect not to have to deal with an AI-affected future. And that future is coming soon. It's probably already here. AI tools are increasingly becoming available for things like programming, text generation, image generation, and video effects, personal assistance, and automating all kinds of lower level routine processes. So here's the true story. A few weeks ago, I went through a drive through, and that drive through had a completely automated voice ordering system. And it worked. It actually worked better than the usual staticky, heavy reverbed human server that, quite frankly, sometimes acts like they aren't exactly all there. And thus, the threat of AI becomes clear to all of us. What is a person supposed to do when you start to see how you yourself may be replaced by an automated AI system? Well, realizing that this is indeed a problem that you must face is the first step. Ignoring that potential or hoping that AI development will slow down is probably a futile dream at this point. Next, we have to realize that a lot of people probably will be in denial for a while, and if you can get out in front of them, you will have a first mover advantage. Indeed, rather than being the person who is replaced by AI, why not try to be the person who figures out how to use the stuff? For all the fact that we probably are going to see some upheaval, technological obsolescence has happened frequently throughout history, and there have always been those people who take advantage of that new technology and become incredibly successful. The next thing I would say is that I think that AI is not quite the end of humanity. Yes, there's likely to be some massive technological change, and yes, there will be economic upheaval. Honestly, maybe the most we've ever seen. AI is potentially completely earth shattering, but economically, you can't simply replace everybody with AI. Supply must always equal demand, and if all humans end up impoverished and unemployed, then what do all the AI systems do? Who's buying the products they produce, and who's paying for their services? Who's paying the data center bills if there's no revenue being generated because all humans are unemployed and broke and can't pay for all the AI generated stuff? I think humans are the reason for AI to exist, and without humans, AI becomes economically unviable. AI may take a lot of jobs for sure, but it can't take all the jobs, or else AI can't pay for itself. That said, I think it's also wise to understand that while my thinking here is at the macro scale, for any individual, you're going to have to face up to the fact that it might be your job on the line. For your individual existence, ignoring AI will likely cost you. You're going to have to scramble to stay on top of things, or you're going to be left behind like that old guy at work that still uses a fax machine. And older people are probably going to have a harder time with things, as the pace of development will be fast, and the more used to the world you have become, the harder it's going to be to adapt. Just like with computers and the internet and cell phones and cloud computing, except probably like 10 to 100 times worse. So that's the purpose of this video. I know I'm not the first person to say it, but it's still worth saying. AI isn't going to go away. It's going to keep getting better, and it's going to keep getting scarier. And your choices, well, there aren't really that many. It's basically get on top of things, become adaptable, and scramble through the cataclysm, or get left behind in the dust. You might get left in the dust anyway, try as you might. But the best strategy isn't to be terrified and stick your head in the sand, hoping it passes you by without consequence. You have to face reality and try as hard as you can.